and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin the Clue.
And Colin Cunningham.
Justin's back.
Justin, you're back from the dead.
Yeah.
You're on the precipice of death.
We had 1 week without you.
Well, we're all on the precipice of death, and then we're dead. That's how it works.
We had 1 week without you, but now you're back.
Yep, that's right. I'm at 20% energy. Buckle up, people.
Which is still like 80% of what a regular person's energy.
Yeah, sure.
So we've finally gotten to our listener request episode, which we had to put off by 1 week.
Yeah, we watched it.
Oh, that's what this was.
Yeah.
I was like, did April pick this movie?
Yeah.
No. So the winner of our bad movie lottery, which, by the way, if you're if you donate to our Patreon at the $2 level or
the AI April is breaking down.
then you can be submitted into a lottery to pick an episode every couple months. So this time's winner is Kirsten Peterson.
Oh my God.
And they picked Cecil B. Demented, and they had to say this about it. For some reason, this was my favorite movie when I was 11.
11?
Which I find very funny.
Oh my God.
So Cecil B. Demented, it came out in year 2000, and I never knew that this was John Waters. I didn't know what this was. I knew the title, and I had seen the cover, like in Blockbuster. I thought it was some kind of horror movie. I had no idea what
the cover
this was.
is terrible.
Well, yeah, it's like red and like black and white, and you see her like holding a gun, and you're like,
There's
what
like
is going on?
a squished version of Melanie Griffith on the cover.
Yeah, and you don't even know that it's Stephen Dorff. You cannot tell that it's him.
no.
It just looks, I don't know.
Yeah, you got to sell it to all the Dorff heads out there. Who are like, Dorff. And then you get it, and you're like, is this Dorff plays golf? And they're like, oh, no, you got the wrong
wrong
No,
one.
it's Stephen Dorff, baby. So yeah, this is John
Son
Waters.
of Dorff.
Son of Dorff. He's a little taller.
Yeah,
this is
people that are over that are under 35 are like, what the hell are they talking
Yeah.
about?
Barely.
Come on,
I
those
barely know
those
who Dorff
videos are
is.
delightful. This is John Waters. I saw this when it came out, actually, so I rented it. Even though after seeing that cover, for some reason I wanted to rent it. I don't remember anything about it, so rewatching it now was like a kind of different experience. John Waters, for me, is kind of like a blind spot in my my movie watching. I've only seen this and Crybaby.
Yeah, so I've only seen this, Crybaby, and Serial Mom, which I watched a few years ago and really enjoyed. And Crybaby, I want to say, Justin, your partner Emily showed me that in high school.
Because she loves Crybaby.
It was a big Johnny Depp thing. I think maybe it was around the time when Pirates came out or whatever. So it was like, watch this movie, and then I showed it to my friends, and I didn't know that it was a parody of 50s movies. I didn't know it was directed by John Waters. Didn't know who John Waters was. I liked it, but I didn't get the jokes, which is stupid, but I was a dumb teenager.
So wait, you didn't chow down on Divine eating dog poo and pink flamingos?
I may never watch that. I'm not sure I can handle that movie. But of course,
What about Eddie Furlong in Pecker?
See, I didn't even know he was in that. I learned about John Waters at film school and have not seen any of his movies.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, I like the guy. I don't know. For some reason, it's just...
We're going to watch Serial Mom.
I was
it's very
certain
funny.
this was April's favorite movie as a teenager.
Well,
And I came with questions about that because it feels like this would be one of your favorite films.
This was this patron's favorite movie as a teen, and
she was 11. What the hell?
After I watched this movie, I was like, this does feel like something I would like as a teen. But I'm glad I didn't watch it as a teen, because now that I am an adult, I get all the movie references now, which I never would have got as a kid.
I kind of appreciated it a lot more this time. I kind of watched it twice, actually, before we were...
I watched it twice
I watched it the
as well.
second time to take notes before we were going to record last week. And yeah,
You guys are so dedicated. I watch these movies the day before we record.
see, that's smart.
Well, yeah, we usually do the night before, but it depends.
Yeah, and then I wake up the next morning and then I write.
Oh, is it maybe because there's a little bit of biding? I can't say the word that happens during the watching of the first time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, sometimes.
Yes.
Well, I wake up. I like to just sort of watch it and absorb it. I don't like to take notes as
you
I'm
watch
watching
it?
the film, so I just watch it a second time, have it on in the background, and I kind of just write down.
Well, I never
little
take notes, but because we had to shift the schedule. It was like 2 weeks ago we watched this, so I watched it again this morning. And this is a very good movie. It's very charming.
It's light and breezy.
It's short.
It's a very easy watch.
It's very funny, but it's full of a lot of like kind of, I don't want to say in jokes, but yeah, I would say like movie in jokes that I find very amusing. And it's very, sometimes it's like I don't quite understand if it's making fun of these people or not, but you know what I mean?
I don't know. I think, yeah, maybe that's John Waters' style.
He clearly loves his characters.
Colorful cast of characters.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this movie is about a group of like renegade filmmakers
Called the Sprocket Holes.
which is basically like a cult, and they kidnap Melanie Griffith in order to make their like manifesto movie where she's actually pointing guns and shooting people, and it's all very fun. But it's basically them saying Hollywood is terrible. Bring back,
But John
real
Waters
movies.
is like, please hire me, Hollywood. I want to work
Yeah, exactly.
there.
Good
Please.
independent movies, and these characters are all crazy and funny, and so it's like, is it making fun of them? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But
I
it
think
brings
it's-
up this idea that it's like a slobs versus snobs thing, kind of.
Yeah.
April, you've seen a John Waters film. You've seen the remake of Hairspray, haven't you?
Yeah, but I wasn't counting that because he
okay.
didn't direct it.
He didn't
right?
direct it, no.
I have seen the remake of Hairspray, but not the original.
I feel like I would love Hairspray, and I haven't watched it for some reason.
I would say watch the original because the new one was just okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it was,
I
I mean,
mean-
you like musicals, and it's a good musical. So.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I mean, that John Travolta performance.
Yeah. Right, April?
He's no divine.
No, he is not.
Well, I wouldn't know because I've never seen Divine in John Waters.
I mean, that was a non-sarcastic reading from Colin there. So, Cecil, I want to say Cecil. It's
Cecil.
not.
I think
it's
Cecil.
It's Cecil.
Be
That's what they say
Demented.
in the movie.
It starts with these signs, Hollywood signs, playing nothing but Star Wars and Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jokes like that are very funny to me, but also
It's real life, man.
It's quaint because now that's true.
Oh yeah, it's
And
like,
this is 2000. This is before Marvel. This is before
Oh,
Disney
my God.
owned everything. And in this movie, it's a point of contention that they're sanitizing movies and they're taking out sex and violence, and like that's only gotten worse now. It's the truth.
yeah, and that the sort of multiplexes are being taken over by these big franchise
Yeah.
films and pushing independent cinema out.
I would make the argument that like uncut cinema has never been more accessible, because back in the day the issues was like you would get your movies at Blockbuster and they would censor the movies themselves or decide not to carry certain things.
Right.
And now it's more easily accessible if you know where to look, but the mainstream options, you got nothing.
They're even worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
worse than it was in the 90s.
There's even less movies. But yeah, they make fun of like sequels and like Patch Adams, the director's cut, and like stuff like that.
Their version of Patch Adams is just kids screaming,
Dr.
Dr. Patch, Dr. Patch.
in like a dark room.
I've
on a
never
bed.
seen Patch Adams, and I turned to April and I was like, is that actually a clip from the movie?
No,
And then at one point, the kids are fighting over his clown nose. They're just
Yeah.
like,
April,
No, it's
were you
fine.
insulted by them dissing Robin Williams as Patch Adams?
I didn't like Patch Adams. In fact, I may have not even seen the whole movie. I think I just watched the Nostalgia Critic episode on it.
I was so
Oh.
like offended about Patch. It just looked so terrible and
I
sappy.
mean, I love Patch Adams. It's directed by Tom Shadyac, the man behind the first Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And you know who it's written by? Steve Odekirk,
oh no.
Oh.
director, star of Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Oh my god. Well, I was it just looked so sappy and horrible to me, and then I was like, oh my god, that looks awful. And then I remember my parents one day, they're like, Colin, we rented this movie last night. It was fantastic.
Patch Adams.
It
Yep.
was called Patch Adams. And I just groaned and like,
Well,
oh,
did you know
God.
the real Patch Adams didn't like the movie?
Did he not?
No, and he
Too much clown
It was
nose.
point,
Or not
it
enough.
was a
We
point
don't
of
really know.
contention for him that Robin
funny bone of
Williams was
contention.
too short. Yeah.
He was too
He thought
short.
he was short. Yeah. No, he didn't like.
He
the
thought it
movie.
was short. The movie's like 2.5
No,
hours.
Robin Williams is short.
Is Patch Adams like 9 feet tall? Like,
Robin
what's going
Williams
on?
is a short man.
He probably wanted like Brad Pitt to play him or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, how is that his issue? Is that
I don't know,
Robin
but
Williams is too
I
short?
saw a clip of him on stage being like, "Yeah, they made this movie, and it's not a very good movie, and at least they could have done is hired someone who was as tall as me or something like that."
Oh my god.
Yeah, someone that was like buff and he could fuck and you could tell when he was on screen. Oh, the real Patch Adams has like a crazy mustache.
Yeah, he's a
What is it
colorful
like?
character.
Is it one of those like
It's like a
wacky
Bittenbinder mustache.
like a curled mustache?
Yeah, exactly
Oh,
like that. Like a
God.
curled strongman mustache.
Jesus Christ. Does he have like a pocket watch?
Probably.
He wears Hawaiian shirts.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's so wacky.
Yep.
Anyway, that's Patch.
Patch Adams. Anyway, back to Cecil B.
This
Demented.
movie. So this movie, I was looking at the Rotten
Oh God! If a
Tomatoes.
listener picks Patch Adams as the movie that we have to do one episode,
Oh my god.
that's not going to be a fun.
Stop putting
episode.
these things in their heads.
Stop giving them.
You mention it, and then they're
I
gonna
kind of want it.
watch. We'll get like a whole bunch of new patrons just so they can
And they
like,
all want Patch Adams.
yeah.
Patch.
Patch.
All right, here's a picture of the real Patch Adams.
Oh my god, he's exactly as I imagined.
I could
So
see Robin
aggravating.
Williams playing this character. Like I can,
Yeah.
If you put
Good job, studios.
if you put someone like that in the movie, like if they dressed and acted like that, you'd think it's just too much.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
you'd think it's some
exactly.
kind of dwarf.
He's wacky.
Anyway,
It's like when you watch like I don't know comedians like in the 80s and stuff, and some of them they dress wackily, and it's like whoa,
Bobcat Gold, more like the Howie Mandels. if you
yeah,
will.
like
You said wackily.
yeah, sure, why not? In a wacky manner.
Yeah.
You know, they wear suspenders with like stupid things and Hawaiian
It was-
shirts
it
and
was a
goofy
thing.
suits and stuff. It's like, whoa.
So in the opening of Cecil B. Demented, there was like a
Cecil.
marquee. Cecil. I'm going to say it differently every time.
Yeah.
There's a marquee that says Scream 4 exists.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Postman 2, no. Vertigo the remake, not officially. Lake Placid 2. Not only is there a Lake
Yeah.
Placid 2, I believe there's a Lake Placid 3 and 4.
There
Yeah.
probably are straight to video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lake Placid 3, the final chapter. And then there's Lake Placid 4. Oh, is 4 the final chapter? I'm so confused.
Well, I like this
Yes.
opening sequence because the marquee like words like animate into the title.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It looks weird.
April was blown away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, April was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. I was going to mention that this movie wasn't very well received when it came out. It was kind of like 50-50. Like a lot of people liked it, but a lot of people said that like it wasn't shocking anymore. Like John Waters not shocking us anymore.
Oh,
And people just thought that it was like an SNL sketch.
Really?
Hey, it's much better than an
It
SNL
did
sketch.
kind of feel like an SNL sketch.
Maybe
but
at times, but I
Yeah.
think it's better than that.
I don't know.
like an
It's-
SNL movie.
It's I don't know.
Ooh.
I found it very charming, and it's a fun
I
watch.
think you'd find that about all his movies.
Look at the cast though, and this is something that when I watched it the first time, I didn't know who any of these people were. So
It's very of the time.
watching it now, it's crazy. We got Stephen Dorff, Melanie Griffith, who I knew, Maggie Gyllenhaal,
Yep. Who wasn't super famous yet at all.
Adrian Grenier.
Adrian Grenier, whatever happened
Mr.
to him.
Entourage himself.
Yeah,
After Entourage, you just like never hear about him anymore.
yeah.
Well, he directed some movies, didn't
I
he?
think so. Yeah.
Oh.
And
yeah, Shot in the Dark and Teenage Paparazzo.
And then we've got a little young baby Michael Shannon.
Yes.
Mike Shannon.
Going by
as the
Mike
credits
Shannon.
said.
Mike Shannon.
Little Mikey Shannon. That's
Yeah,
what
that
he
was
called.
Mr. Pottersville himself.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh my God, it
And
was
he's
so
great in
weird.
this.
We got Jack Noseworthy.
Alicia Witt, who
Well, Jack Noseworthy, I'm like, what do I know him from? Ah, yes, he's the guy in Idle Hands. That's where I know him
Oh,
from.
and also that Paul W.S. Anderson movie, Event Horizon.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and then Pat.
He's also in Breakdown and See No Man. I also noticed I would be there in an instant if a theater was doing a Pauly Shore 4-movie marathon.
Is that what they're there
It's
for?
like a fantasy world.
Yeah, there's just a sign that says that. Like, what would that be? Encino Man?
Biodome.
Biodome?
Jury duty.
Oh, and Don't Tell Mom the Baby. Is he?
Wait,
no, he's not.
What about
in
in the
that one, right?
army now? Is that?
In the army. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Got 4 movies. So Melanie Griffith in this is pretty good.
Yeah, she plays Honey Whitlock, who's like this, I guess, from this town, Baltimore.
I don't know if she's actually from. I thought she was just visiting.
She just hates Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's like this bitchy actress. Do we like Melanie Griffith? Because it's funny, I had never seen her in anything other than Body Double, which I coincidentally watched the week that we picked this.
You've never seen Something Wild?
No, I don't
Oh, that
even know
movie's
she's
great.
in that.
Jeff Daniels, Melanie Griffiths, directed by Jonathan Demme.
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta, the movie that made Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
I've of course also seen Roar that she is in.
Yes.
But
Well, she was forced
looks,
to be in.
Yeah, she looks so different in Body Double and this, and it's like I can't even.
Age comes for us all.
Yeah.
I can
April.
barely even tell it is the same actress if it wasn't for the voice.
It's weird. I don't know if she's a good actress.
But maybe you just haven't
Her
seen
real
her.
voice sounds like this. The voice she has in movies she puts on.
her like line delivery is very kind of
a little
stilted and
stilted,
robotic.
but she's
It's
okay.
Very strange, but I respect her for going through with this movie for
Yeah.
for doing it and kind of going with it. It's like, all right.
I think she's
Not a lot of people
well
would.
cast as this character. Like, who else would you want to see?
Oh
play this
God, she's had
character?
a rough time since this movie. Looking at her credits, Stuart Little 2,
Oh, dear.
A Turtle's Tail, a ripoff of a Shark's Tail.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
no.
really?
Yeah. It looks from 2010, so technically not a Shark's Tale ripoff. That would be a very long, long gap Shark's Tale ripoff. Oh, speaking of films we should do for this podcast. Anyway,
Shark's Tail or a Turtle's
Yeah.
Tail?
no Shark's Tale.
Yeah.
Never
Didn't
seen
you
it.
ever want to see a movie where Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro play versions of themselves,
Oh my
but they're
God.
sharks?
I've seen it, Justin.
I've seen
Watched
it too.
it when
It's
it
bad.
I have
came out.
never seen it.
I was babysitting at the time. It wasn't my choice.
I didn't mean to watch it. I was babysitting.
I just tripped and it
It's
fell
like
into
other
the
guys
VCR.
say in this movie. They're like,
Oh, that's right. Melanie Griffiths was also. You've definitely seen this movie, April. Now and Then.
oh yeah,
Now and then.
That's right. It's a movie for young girls, basically. I watched that at the theater when you played it.
Yep, we did.
I completely forgot, so I'm wrong. And she's good in that. Although it's a very small role. But
Yeah, very small role.
anyway, so this movie starts with they're doing a film screening in Baltimore of
A premiere of
This-
of Melanie Griffith's new movie.
what's it called?
I forget.
It's some terrible name.
Some kind of happiness or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, or some.
And she's being mean. She's being mean to her agent or her assistant, Ricky
Lake, yeah. She's a bit of a diva.
And
So, how did Ricky Lake get a super popular television show?
I have no
that I
idea.
know me and April watched in our youth.
absolutely,
right,
I
April?
did. Yeah. I don't know. Like, how do you get a talk show?
No idea.
Because I think she was she basically discovered by John Waters in Hairspray? I think she was.
Could be.
No idea.
Yeah, I think so. And then I
But,
thought
like-
that she had like a music career, didn't she?
no idea.
I don't think
I
so.
might just be wrong.
Her show was one of the those talk shows. It ran from only 1993, to 2004, so it had 12 seasons.
Yeah.
But it was omnipresent.
Oh yeah.
And I used to watch daytime television. You know,
When you're sick from school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
only
you
knew
wanna
her
watch
from Crybaby, so it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's got a talk show now. That's very weird.
well, I
Wow,
knew
is-
her first.
Is Maury still going? No, it ended.
no way.
But you know when he ended? 2022.
Oh my God.
I'm shocked.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Okay.
he's still alive.
I thought he ended.
He ended on screen. He was like, "It's over.
It's my last show.
So
I'm going to boot camp myself."
The big boot camp in the sky.
the sprocket holes, they kind of infiltrate this premiere and they all look like normal people, but it was fun like watching this for the second time. When you see them at the first time, you don't know who any of these people are, but now like you know who they are and they're all like dressed up.
They're kind of like speaking into like their earpieces.
Yeah.
And like a little...
And like so she goes on stage and then there's like a kid who has like an oxygen tank thing who is very funny. I guess you
Yeah,
gotta-
he's a classic, like, "Fuck you, lady." little
yeah, he's
kid.
like this asshole little kid.
But yeah, so it's funny because
When she comes on stage and then she like turns his oxygen
Yeah.
up and he's like,
Yeah, Mink
"Whoa."
Stoll. John
Stephen,
Waters regular.
Yeah, Stephen Dorff, reveals himself. He pulls off like his hair, and he has just the same haircut underneath, except it's blonde.
Are you guys Dorf heads? You ride the Dorf train?
I like him.
I've only
well
seen
enough.
him in Blade, obviously. He's
and The Gate,
He's
where
pretty-
he's a 14-year-old boy.
I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
The
the gate.
Oh, you haven't seen The Gate? Very
No.
good. I didn't know, because, he was a child actor, because he shows up in that recent documentary, Kid 90.
No kidding.
About Soleil Moon Frye made it. It's all like the tapes that she shot in the
Yeah.
90s as she was growing up.
I was gonna watch that.
Yeah, I had no idea. The first time I saw him, I thought was Blade, and I kind of liked him. And then the next time I saw him was in True Detective season 3, and he's fantastic in that show.
Huh.
From what I saw, he was good.
I don't think I saw that season.
It's like the Mahershala Ali one,
Yeah.
season, yeah.
but he's like this
The
sort
one
of
that Jeremy Saulnier was fired from.
really.
Yeah, because I think he directed the first 4 episodes, and then he was fired from the series.
Oh, I was wondering what
Those are
happened
the
there.
only episodes I saw.
Yeah,
I never finished it.
he's great. He's like this sort of grizzled cowboy.
I
cop.
think he's a good actor.
He's good.
Oh, that's right. So basically, like, I guess Blade, was that the height of his power? Because he did star in, like, SFW. He's in Judgment Night.
Wasn't he in like a Beatles movie?
Yes.
Say
What?
what?
Was it? Backbeat, it was called.
Backbeat, yeah.
And he played Paul or John. Who
John,
knows?
probably.
No
Who knows?
way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Do you think he he was trapped with the accent like Austin Butler was or has been since he did Elvis? Have you guys seen that?
What?
Like,
I've heard of it.
I've heard
yes.
people talking about what's going
Austin
on.
Butler cannot stop talking like Elvis.
What-
Apparently.
Like in his interviews and stuff like that. Like he did have a bit of that drawl before, but now it's like pure Elvis, and he
Really?
got it. Yeah, and he can't get rid of it.
I'm sure if he just like saw a speech therapist or something, but maybe he's
Yeah,
just
he'd have
like,
to see a speech therapist.
I don't want to
again.
get rid of it.
He's like so in character. He's like, oh man.
That's how he sounds like. He's
Oh,
like,
my God.
What a part of Elvis.
He goes to like Lisa Marie Presley's like funeral. Oh, my daughter. Like what?
Oh God.
Get out of here, sir.
I want to hang out with my good friend Andy Kaufman.
Oh,
Jim
God.
Carrey dressed as Andy Kaufman.
It'd be amazing. He should do like a show in Vegas, but as Elvis. You know.
Oh,
Elvis.
he would probably love that. Like if that's what he's trapped doing
I'd
for the
be
rest of
going
his
like
life.
every year.
Yeah, I'd go. I'd see Austin Butler do Elvis.
Oh yeah, man. Come on.
How can we forget Stephen Dorff starring in such classics with Fairuza Balk in Deuces Wild? Remember that movie?
No, not at all.
From 2002? I mean, you remember Fear.com, which he starred in.
I saw that movie and I can't remember a thing about it.
He was in that?
Yeah, he stars in that movie.
Oh my god.
He started it.
Wow.
Wait, wasn't he in that? Nope, never mind.
What, the puppet movie?
yeah,
No, that
but-
was Donnie Wahlberg.
That was Donnie Wahlberg.
The puppet movie?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean Dead
Dead
Silence?
Silence.
Dead Silence. Yeah.
He was in Alone in the Dark, though, the Uwe Boll movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I've ever actually.
It was
sat
a
through.
face-off of Jack Nicholson impersonators,
Christian
Stephen Dorff
Slater.
and Christian Slater.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he does have a bit of the Nicholson going on.
Yeah, he did a biopic for Nicholson, and ever since then he couldn't lose that rhythm of speech.
Exactly.
Now appearing in Vegas with Austin Butler. Jack Nicholson and
Austin
Elvis. He just like, oh, thanks for coming to my show, and then they
And Christian Slater is like his understudy. He can step in if he needs him.
They keep cutting to like him as Jack Nicholson in the front row with like sunglasses, thanks.
Just dead, stuffed, and mounted.
Showing up to like LA Lakers games, like courtside. Yeah, all right, thanks.
Well, supposedly I was listening to a podcast. It was the guys from It's Always Sunny, and they said they sat behind Jack Nicholson, and Jack like would turn around and say something just incomprehensible, and they'd be like, "What?" And then Jack would be like, "Ha ha!" And then he'd go back to watching the game.
You just laugh.
Yeah.
He's just having a great time.
Just go along with
He's
it.
living his best life.
Well, no, he's not. You've
Not
seen
now,
that famous article, right? Where it's like, "I'm going to die alone," says Jack Nicholson.
Oh God.
Well, I think didn't he have like dementia or something, and he had
Oh,
to
he
retire?
must, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not acting anymore.
No, he was in that Roger Corman doc.
Yeah, and he cries.
He was getting emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
eating big hoagies on the boat. You've seen that photo, right? Of him shirtless, chowing down on some hoagies.
with his like big man boobs hanging down.
See, he's living his best life.
Yeah, like surrounded by like
Like
six
beautiful,
models.
like 18-year-old
Oh
women.
my
Yeah.
God.
Do
what
it.
a character.
Go for it, Jack.
All right.
Okay, so they
God, I'm looking at the photo now.
so they kidnap Melanie Griffith and they take her to their like compound, which I think is in an old theater.
Yeah, it's like
this
the-
is what I want to
the
know.
Hippodrome.
How many theaters are in Baltimore? Because like the whole movie is in movie theaters essentially, and they're all different. I mean, I'm sure that they're not really all real theaters there.
At one point, they crash into a movie theater and then are trying to escape, and they run like a block to another theater.
Yeah.
There used to be a lot more movie theaters in the 90s, guys.
I guess.
I guess.
my God.
Even in Toronto.
I'm just looking at the picture.
Of Jack Nicholson that I sent you.
It's great.
Wow.
He's got bigger breasts than like Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She got breast surgery.
He's got big boobs.
That's a huge hoagie. He's chowing down.
But yeah, so
And he's eating it like one-handed,
They're in
too.
an abandoned theater, and then they go to a porno theater, and then they go to a Hollywood theater, and then they go
If
to
anybody
like
was wondering, in the martial arts theater, it's Tai Chi 2, directed by Yuo Ping, that's playing on the screen.
Oh, I
Oh,
knew
no kidding.
you would know. But anyway, so what's funny about this movie is it's just kind of like a series of vignettes where they're quote unquote shooting their movie guerrilla style. But in between each vignette is like a fade up and a fade down, like a commercial break.
Yeah.
I was like, was he thinking like this is for when it airs on television?
I don't think so.
It's like very persistent.
Yeah, maybe it's his style. Maybe check out other movies, you know?
Well,
But
yeah. So they kidnap her. They
bring her back to
we get introduced to
the Hippodrome, which is like
Hippodrome.
their hideout, which is like an abandoned theater that they've kind of made into like their own like Pee-wee's Playhouse style.
Yeah, which is a very cute set. I like the details. I like the big bed made of wigs.
It's almost like they have like their sleeping arrangements. It's like they've made the set for like Hollywood squares.
Yeah.
And they each like sleep in like a little cube
it's
that they've
cute.
decorated. One of them sleeps with
Movie tickets?
like a blanket, but it's like just movie tickets.
It's the details like that that I appreciate.
I like the production design is really good.
They all have tattoos of filmmakers on their body.
I was ashamed to say that I didn't know all those filmmakers. Like, I have heard of them, but I don't know what they direct.
Yeah, you got William Castle, David Lynch, Sam Peckinpah, Otto Preminger.
Otto Preminger.
I don't know who Otto Preminger is.
He
He was like a studio guy that was like famously difficult and bald. And
He was famously
he played Mr. Freeze in the
He did.
Batman 60s Batman
Oh.
show. And he directed Anatomy of a Murder, I think. Was
yeah,
one of his-
Laura, Bunny Lake is Missing, Bonjour Tristesse. He's the one who discovered and tortured Gene Seberg, the actor who would then go and star in Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Well, okay.
There you go. Otto Preminger.
But yeah, so they all have tattoos. And then, like,
Otto Preminger, everybody.
the other thing is, like, Adrian Grenier's character is on a lot of drugs, and the joke is every time you see him he's doing something else, which is like a silly joke that you would kind of put in like your high school movie, but it was still funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, it keeps like escalating. He's like, "Hey, do you want some crack?" And then like, you know,
but then in like the next scene he's
like
in the
shooting
van
heroin.
and he's like just drinking cough syrup, like and it's not even commented on. A lot of times it is commented on. It's a silly joke, but you know, it's all right.
It's a running gag. Michael Shannon is like the driver.
Yeah.
He's really funny. He's kind of in a relationship with Jack Noseworthy in the movie.
Who's the hairstylist?
He's really funny.
And the big thing
They
that
want
they
to
do,
be in a relationship, but they can't.
Yeah.
Because Jack knows where he's not gay.
He's straight.
he's trying so
He's-
hard, but
he's
he
a
just
self-loathing
can't-
straight
Yeah,
man.
he can't change his sexuality, unfortunately. But yeah, so they dye Melanie Griffith's hair, which is treated like they're torturing her, basically, which is very
I
funny.
mean, you've gotten your hair bleached, haven't you, April? It
Not
hurts.
like that. I have had it like bleached, but not like to that extent.
Not like this.
Not to burn it.
well, the
I mean,
way-
I've never bleached my
The
hair,
way you
so I
do
would
it
know,
is
but-
that if you do it properly, if you have dark hair like me, you get it done in stages. So you get it like dyed like a light blonde, and then like 6 months later, you get ready to get lighter blonde. And if you do it like that, it probably does burn a lot.
I had my hair lightened once, a couple of times. I had it colored,
Did it hurt?
and it did once because the the girl doing my hair forgot about me. She just like put she
Oh my God! So,
So
your
she-
scalp must have been on fire.
yeah. So she's like, okay, I'll come back in like 10 minutes, and not that she walked away. She was like doing someone else's hair like right next to me, and then she just got chit chatting with her for like a really really long time.
Oh my god!
And then
Unprofessional.
finally like came back to me, and then I had like my scalp was like flaking the next day. Like it was just like, and I never got it again. Like,
Was she like, "I'm sorry," or is she just like, "Stop being a baby"? and
no,
slap you
she's
in the
just
back
very
of the head?
scatterbrained and just like, okay, whatever. Like this has been like half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to leave the bleach in your hair that long.
I know. Well, I don't go to her anymore.
When I get my hair dyed, I've sat for like 45 minutes before, but not necessarily pure bleach.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already blonde anyway, so they don't have to do much.
So were you trying to go like full blonde? Like
just like a lighter shade. Just, lighten it up a bit. Whatever. Never again.
Well, don't never say
unless
never.
the patrons demand it. That's how it works.
Yeah, we'll do like a charity stream. We're dyeing Colin's
Bleach
hair.
Colin's hair.
I do like Jack Noseworthy's character. He's like
He's funny.
He's so angry, and he's like he hates roots. He's like, oh, I hate roots.
And what does he say? You're going off the deep end of the Clairol color pool or something?
Yeah, it's like we're gonna send you off the deep end of the Clairol color
There's
chart.
a lot of really funny, silly lines in this. Like during the opening scene where they're taking over the premiere, the girl on the team with the short hair, she like pulls out her gun and like climbs over the desk and she just goes, "Women in film," just like random stuff like that, which I find very funny.
And they do have like these DJs, two of the crew kind of DJ. Every time they go back to the Hippodrome, there's always like the two people like DJing. And then the soundtrack is filled with like these kind of like raps and stuff like
There's
that.
also, they like keep playing kind of the same like style of music. It's kind of like rock music of the time.
Bankable bitch, we don't need no pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
They're like
that song is
rapping
really
about,
funny.
independent film production.
And how they don't need no script or call sheets or no craft services. It's very funny. But again, I would never get that joke if I watched this when it came out.
I mean, you better have some craft services, even if you have no money.
Oh, that's the only thing.
Your crew and cast are gonna be so pissed off.
Yeah, they'll revolt.
Yeah, a hungry crew is not a good crew. They're an angry crew.
I mean, speaking of Nostalgia Critic, that was one of his big downfalls.
Oh my
his
god!
movie.
I went down a wormhole of like,
Stop
am I going to watch
mentioning him.
a 5-hour video of the history of Nostalgia
Let's
Critic?
just not even talk about him ever again.
Well, he didn't have craft services. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, that's his downfall.
Wait, no. I watched this 5-hour video about the history of Nostalgia Critic. I don't want to talk about it. Do you guys ever, I mean, you watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I always see like 8 hours about this one little specific thing.
Yeah.
Where you just go beat by beat through it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Editorialize people.
8 hours is too much, but I have watched like 4-hour videos on things, but that's like my limit. And you do it like over the course of like, a couple days.
We did watch that one about Lost. That was like
a series though of
Yeah,
videos.
they-
It wasn't one long video.
each one was like 2 hours or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, but no, I do watch long YouTube videos. But
What does lost mean? We got some videos here to explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
it was more like, why does Lost suck?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like a big deep dive about like, okay, they were totally lying when they said this and that, and they had basically proving that they were just making it up as they went, sort of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how these things work.
Yeah.
They don't have long plans for them.
But they were just like being disingenuous. Anyway, so yeah, they kind of force her to be in the movie. They shoot one scene in the Hippodrome, and then they're like, okay, we're going to go on location. We're going to shoot things.
And then the movie is
guerrilla
basically
style.
just that series of them shooting these scenes
And then being shot themselves.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
disrupting stuff.
And then they like retreat back to the Hippodrome, and like every time it's kind of like Batman. They just like shows them like leaving the Hippodrome with like, and they've painted their like truck differently each time.
Yeah. Michael Shannon wants to know about whose dick and balls was he?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
He's like, hey,
He
did
really
you ever
wants to know?
did you ever fuck Mel Gibson? And he's like, how big is his dick? And then they keep talking about something, and he's like, God damn it, tell me about Mel Gibson's dick and balls.
Now, does Mel Gibson have a long and large dick and balls, or are they short and stubby?
I'm
don't
guessing
know.
short by how angry he is.
Short and angry.
Yeah.
Short and angry.
Short and angry and religious.
Is he another one of those actors that's shorter, like in
Yeah.
real life?
Oh yeah, he's super short.
Why are all the biggest actors short?
I don't know.
Tom Cruise.
It's all about personality.
Danny DeVito.
It's because they compensate through their acting.
Danny DeVito,
Yeah,
Mel Gibson.
Exactly. Robert De Niro, also notoriously short. We all saw that picture of him with the lifts. So
Well, that
it,
was
it
in-
says Mel Gibson is 5.8, so that's not that
that's
much.
short for a man, though. I guess.
Yeah, okay.
That's just slightly taller than
But
me.
they always exaggerate
He's
that by like
probably
6
like
inches.
5'2".
He's like
You're
4.
right.
He's
Yeah.
4'9".
They lie about that kind of stuff.
The thing
Tom
about
Cruise is 7 feet tall.
no, De Niro was wearing the lifts for The Irishman because the character he played, I think, was like 6'4" or something like that.
Okay.
Which you would never know.
There's a really funny line in the series Mythic Quest where Joe I can't say his name.
Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello. He plays himself, and he's like, "You're gonna cast Brad Pitt. He's 5'8". You get a 5'8" actor, you get a 5'8" performance."
That must be in one of the new Mythic Quest episodes, because I don't think
it's
I've seen
new
that.
season that just Joe Manganiello, like, he always plays himself. He also did in the Pee Wee movie, where he's just best friends with Pee Wee Herman.
As him?
As himself, yes.
I guess that's all he can do now.
I mean,
because he didn't get that Marvel movie or
who
DC
else?
movie that he was supposed to get.
Oh, yeah.
What did he play? Like Sandman or something like that?
Deathstroke is it, yeah.
But okay.
Listen,
so,
he's in his basement. He's playing Dungeons and Dragons. He's happy.
Yeah, exactly. I want to skip ahead to the scene where it's like an outdoor like lunch that they're having with all the like studio
Where everyone's eating the
executives.
clams.
Yeah.
Or the oysters.
Yeah, because that's really funny.
It's the Maryland Film Commission, and well, they keep basically. Well, we're kind of skipping ahead, but Cecil be demented. They become like terrorists, like wanted terrorists, because somebody at the theater died when they first kidnapped.
Yeah,
Melanie Griffith.
it's a regular like Hollywood theater that
Yeah.
we mentioned before, and they're like turning over tables, and someone got shot.
Yeah, so the Maryland Film Commission, they have this like outdoor event with the head of the commission looks just like Michael Eisner.
Yeah, I feel like that had to be intentional, right?
It had to be. Like, he's wearing the exact same suit. He looks like him, and he's
the
got this
hat.
like baseball cap on, and it's just like, and like multiple people in the audience have like baseball caps.
Yeah.
And then
That is a classic studio exec. Just like Kevin Feige's continuing the trend.
yeah,
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, it's still to this day.
Yeah, the swag cap.
But yes,
You're bald, guys. Just take your hat off.
Yeah.
they're eating these oysters, and the Foley in this
it's so good.
movie is really funny and it's really disgusting. And we love raw oysters; we eat them all the time. But this is
Not
meant,
me. I'm allergic.
this is-
No oysters for me.
That's true. This is meant to disgust you, and it does.
No,
But it's just
it
really
doesn't
funny.
disgust me. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
It's funny.
And he's like, we're shooting in Baltimore, as we call it, Hollywood of the East.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
So they're on the rooftop, and Steven Dorff's like,
Wait, isn't the Hollywood of the East Toronto, which is what subbed in for Baltimore in Hairspray?
"It's true."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
we're
all
the
of his
Hollywood
movies.
of the North.
All of, yeah, or Vancouver gets called that sometimes too.
Oh shit!
I
Yeah,
don't know.
That's right.
Who knows?
But yeah, so he convinces Honey to jump off the roof into this scene, which is like at least 10 foot.
Oh God, it's like 50 feet.
50 feet.
She would
drop.
die.
And she's not sure yet if she's like okay with this group. She's like, they're kind of convincing her to be like radical. She hasn't quite been radicalized yet.
Well, she starts off like supporting Hollywood and like, I'm
Yeah.
proud to be part of the Hollywood system.
it doesn't take that long though for her to kind of turn,
Yeah. And then she's
which is
like,
parodying the Patty Hearst.
Well, Patty Hearst
Situation.
herself shows up in this
Exactly.
movie.
Yeah.
is she in all of his movies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He loves Patty Hearst.
I guess they became friends. But yeah, so anyway, so she's like, fine, I'll do it. And she does, and miraculously does not get hurt, which is like a magical realism I can
That's
get
the
on board
classic
with.
stunt thing that you need to do if you believe in yourself. No
Exactly.
broken bones.
Yeah.
And then they get in a gunfight with the cops at that point. It's just like
And people are just getting shot left, right, and center.
Oh yeah, it's
like-
like the sprocket holes are getting taken out one by one.
That's one thing I didn't quite like about this movie is that once like that starts happening, it gets a little repetitive where it's just like a shootout, and like they add gags in the shootouts, but I could have done with a little less of that, but like it kind of just keeps continuing as it goes on.
Well, they do get in a shootout with the Teamsters later on, which is really
Yes.
funny. But first, the first raid that they do is on just like a regular theater, but it's playing Patch Adams of the director's cut.
Yeah.
And then they
and
just
everyone
like,
in the audience is like crying, which is very funny. But yeah, so this
And you get the line that everybody says that they run into. It's like, I'm not making the decisions. It's this person.
Yeah.
I'm just following orders.
he's like, I didn't pick that movie. I'm only the assistant head of creative for the studio.
I'm only the vice president of creative
Which
development.
is really funny. And then he's like, hey, didn't you like make that Hollywood remake of that foreign film?
It's like nobody wants to read subtitles.
Yeah. I mean, it's
all
prescient
true.
even today. Like nothing has changed in 22 years.
Well, younger people don't have as much difficulty as older people with subtitles anymore.
I think that's
because a lot of the
probably true.
material they consume, especially on streaming services, like a lot of Korean dramas get watched and Japanese stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So they're used to it.
I always pick like the subtitled option if I'm going to be watching something.
Yes.
Dubbing is horrible.
But I think that dubbing is actually getting better than what it used to
No,
be.
April.
No, I'm not. Hey, I don't watch dubs. I'm
Listen,
just saying there's a lot
Avatar:
of
The
people
Last
who love it.
Airbender shows what voice performances can do.
Exactly.
I remember I went to see Inglourious Bastards with my mom in Vancouver, and we went to a theater. It was like at a university. I think it was University of Victoria. And the theater was arranged. It wasn't like the kind of like angled seating.
I know what you're gonna say.
And it's very flat.
It was just a flat room, and you couldn't read the
kind
subtitles.
of a flat room, and just the bottom part of the screen was cut off by the seating.
Yeah.
And it was really hard.
That happened to me in one of my film classes that
Yeah.
I would have a weekly class in, and a lot of what you watch has subtitles, and I was like, I can't
Yeah.
I can't read the screen.
It was almost a completely empty theater, and they had the screen on the stage, and somebody sat directly in front of me. It was like, I could sit anywhere.
Yeah,
other than
I
this.
know.
When
And it
I
was-
saw Glorious Bastards in theaters, back when everything used to be shown on film, I only realized, talking to a friend later on, that they fucking skipped a reel in my screen.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, so you might not know, right? Were you like, wow, we really jumped ahead in the movie?
No, you couldn't even tell, which really shows the structural soundness of Quentin Tarantino's film.
I can't remember what movie it was, but I was watching it on Netflix, and I think something screwed up by default. The subtitles weren't on, and a lot of the movie was not in English.
Yeah.
And I just thought I went along for like half the movie thinking it
Yeah.
was like a really bold choice. Like,
Yes.
wow, this is really good. And then I think I started and stopped it, and then like the subtitle, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I can kind of understand what's
Yeah.
happening in the plot.
So
Wow.
I have a story like that too. I watched Captain Phillips.
Oh, dear.
With no subtitles, and it was a download or a screener or whatever, and I didn't know if it was supposed to have it or not, right? So I watched the whole movie like
so
that.
yeah.
The whole movie, and I think I posted on Facebook. I was like, is this movie supposed to have subtitles? And someone was like, no, it's not, except for when they're not speaking English, of course. I'm like, so it is. Thanks. And so I just had to kind of guess what the terrorists
Yeah.
were saying to each other. And no wonder I didn't like that movie. Yeah, I didn't.
You
really
didn't
give
even
it a
know his
chance.
name was Captain Phillips. You're like, who the
Yeah.
hell is Captain Phillips?
Yeah. Well, anyway, watch things with subtitles, people. They're good movies.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode. Good night, everybody.
That's our manifesto.
Yeah. So
They go back to the Hippodrome after the Patch Adams thing. You know, they're trying to get. But it's funny because Stephen Dorff has kind of forbidden them from having sex during production.
yeah,
They have
so
to
that
save
plays
it.
that plays into it a lot. The horniness is palpable.
Everyone is like so horny, and they're always like groaning and like rubbing themselves and grinding up against like walls and stuff. And then they
Are
have.
you an Alicia Witt fan, April? That seems like someone that would be up your alley.
I only recognized her because I was like, oh yeah, she was in Urban Legend that we watched.
Oh,
she's
she's a
years
Christmas Hallmark person
ago.
now.
I'm not surprised,
Oh.
but no, I hadn't seen her in anything since like this time. So I guess, like I said, like her and like Adrienne Grenier feel very like 2000s. Like they were.
She was a child actor. She was in David Lynch's Dune, and she was in the Twin
Oh,
Peaks TV
that was
show.
her. She was
yeah.
the creepy kid.
Yeah, she's a creepy kid.
I did see that she came back for the Twin Peaks return,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she's like the girl who like screams near a tree or something. But yeah, it makes sense. She was in the original, and then she guest plays the same character. I'm not
okay.
100% sure on that, but
I knew her name, and I'm like, how do I know her
yeah.
name so well?
she's probably related to someone famous. But
we
she's
getting a call?
She's
It's
very,
a call-in show.
She's very good in this movie. She
yeah.
plays a porn star,
Yeah.
and she's really funny. Are we about at the scene where we get at the porno theater? Is that coming up? Oh no, we got to go to the Kung Fu theater first, right?
Well, this all leads into, so basically they escape from the Maryland. They have this like shootout on the pier with like the cops and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
the cops like get Honey, and then they end up like
in a car
busting
chase.
her free.
So then they crash into a kind of family theater, and people start yelling at them
Which is
outside,
really
and
funny.
they're like, we want swearing, and they're like, shut up. And then this is the one line that I remember from watching it the first time so long ago. Is like the lady says, "I walk out of your movies on airplanes."
It's a good line.
It's good. And then the cops come, they're chasing them, and then they chase them into like a kung fu cinema that's showing that movie that Justin mentioned.
Yeah, and the audience is all like, they look like stunt guys, and there's one guy that's actually wearing a gi in the audience, which is very.
And they're like, guys, we're being
funny
chased,
detail.
and the entire audience like knows
they're
kung
like,
fu.
They do kung fu at them,
And they
and then
start
they let
like
them
beating
escape.
up the cops. Yeah.
Because as you can see, lovers of genre and small filmmakers, they love each other and protect each other.
Yeah, action fans, porn fans.
Yeah.
They'll get behind whoever gets.
Unlike a big Hollywood studio.
Well, that's not the case now. Like obsessed Marvel fans.
Oh God! Like attack everybody
Uh-oh,
en masse
yeah.
in the internet.
Yeah, things kind of went a little sideways there.
How dare Scorsese say anything about these Marvel films? Yeah, so they find out that they're making Forrest Gump 2, Gump Again.
That's
Now,
really
did you guys
funny.
see in the trivia? It was supposed to star Michael J. Fox.
I did see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
and they did not get him, so they got his next best thing.
Kevin
friend
Nealon.
of Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Honestly, Kevin Nealon perfectly cast in this. It's
Oh, yeah, it's
hilarious.
great.
His Gump impression is spot on. Yeah, and it's a very funny idea. It is. I guess you could say it's SNL-ish, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because he was on SNL, but you know what I mean.
Was he on SNL?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kevin
Oh,
Nealon
I don't
was.
know.
Yeah, he did the
Yeah.
Weekend Update for a long time. And so he's eating crab cakes.
And at this point, like once they take over and start shooting people, like members of our crew are getting like killed. Like
Oh yeah, they're like getting.
Mr. Entourage.
yeah, we
no!
lose Adrian Grenier here, and this is where so they tie up all the Teamsters in the back, and then the Teamsters escape.
It's so funny that the Teamsters are the villain in this
I
scene.
know.
Yeah, I know, but I love how they all have like New York accents, but it's like
And they're all like 300-pound guys.
yeah, and it's like yeah, like tied us up back there, but it's like it's Baltimore. But they, they're shooting it all indoors, which is really funny. The set looks really fake and stuff like that. And I don't know if there's
Gump
specific.
goes to Baltimore.
Gump again.
It's almost like they're shooting on the volume.
Exactly. Oh my God, John Waters, future seer. But they get in a fight. All the Teamsters are armed, of course. They all pull out guns and they start shooting them on the set and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And so they have to escape to the porno theater, right?
Yeah.
So this is my favorite scene, specifically because once they're in the movie that's on the screen is very funny.
It's with
like
Alicia
a porno
Witt.
parody of a movie that we'll see in the final scene, but they actually are like showing like guys like with their hands down their pants, and then when the Teamsters come in and start attacking them, all the porno watchers just
turn
walk
into
towards them
zombies.
like zombies. It's a very
Yeah, Alicia Witt gets recognized in the theater because they're all
they're
fans
like,
of hers.
"Whoa."
She's like, help us.
It's a funny comparison.
Yeah, it's all these it's like a horde of zombies fighting off
And the guy's like, hey, that's illegal.
I do love one of the gags when they first arrive when they're trying to infiltrate the Forrest Gump set. Michael Shannon drives the truck up and he's like, yeah, I got a delivery for Kevin Nealon. It's like, yeah, it's from the chocolate shop. They said it's the largest box of chocolates they ever made. He's like, okay, come right in.
My favorite part of the movie is the fact that the person that composed the score.
Oh my God.
It's Basil Polidorus, who's most famous for doing like RoboCop and
Conan the
Starship Troopers.
Barbarian.
But it was also his daughter Zoe Polidorus.
Yeah.
So the opening credits has like Hollywood themes playing over like the loudest, most obnoxious techno you've ever heard.
Yeah,
It's true.
And it doesn't mesh at all.
Yeah,
No.
which is obviously intentional. But yeah, I was like, what is going on?
It's funny that he probably took the job and he's like, Zoe, I don't know anything about this modern music. John Waters. That's my Basil Polidorus. I don't know why.
Yeah, what accent does he
I
have?
don't know. I think he's Greek.
It's me, Basil Polidorus.
I think I confuse him with Dino De Laurentiis a lot. So in my mind,
Yes.
they've merged. But actually,
Dino,
Zoe
Italian.
Polidorus had a cameo in Starship Troopers when they're shipping off and they have their little graduating night dance. Zoe is on stage singing with the band.
She actually starred in a movie called Down and Out with the Dolls, which I've never heard of before.
Interesting.
About a all-women rock band.
I think she does have a rock band.
Well, good for her.
Basil Polidorus, R.I.P.
Rest in power.
Rest in Polidorus.
Yep. All right. So wait, where are we now? Gunfight.
We're getting to the drive-in.
Porn theater.
Well, also Eric Roberts is in this movie.
Very briefly.
Yeah. Speaking, he's just popping up in everything these days.
Know.
You said speaking of Eric Roberts for an episode that has not come out yet.
No, you're wrong because the schedule has switched, so it has come out.
Really?
We'll get to it at the end of the episode.
Our
but,
Babylon episode.
Yeah.
Well, you've
already heard it if you're listening to this.
Exactly.
But anyway, Eric Roberts is Melanie Griffith's ex-husband.
And he shows up on the Roseanne Barr talk show.
Did Roseanne actually have a talk show?
I don't know.
That seems like something she would have, right?
I mean, I know Rosie O'Donnell did, but
Who hasn't had a talk show? I've had like 3.
The Roseanne Show was a syndicated talk show hosted by American actress Roseanne Barr.
There you
there you
go. But yeah,
It lasted 281 episodes from 1998 to 2000.
how did I miss that?
Wow.
I don't think we got that in Canada. I don't recall ever seeing that on
Not a
TV.
big talk show watcher, but I don't know. There's just so many to keep track of.
Well, the funny thing is I never watch talk shows now. Now it's podcasts, but I used to watch a lot.
Are there still kind of like talk shows in that format anymore?
I don't
Not really.
know.
Like
there's
daytime
still,
talk
there's-
shows.
like The
no,
View and
I don't
stuff
know.
like
There's
that?
late night talk shows.
Well, I mean,
still.
like Ellen, I guess, was the last big one.
Rest in
Did
piss.
did she get canceled yet? Like the,
Oh,
the
yeah,
show?
absolutely
No, not
she
her.
did,
The
yes.
show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
it was
good.
all like she was a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bad.
Oh, boy.
And now she's wait, there was a TV show Little Ellen. Is that still running?
I think so, but that's like for babies.
Was that a cartoon?
I do not believe
Yeah.
that Little Ellen. There's a book, but like Little Ellen show.
There is a show. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it started in 2021 and it has 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So the last scene in the movie is at yet another theater. It's at a drive-in movie theater, and this is where I'm kind of. I feel like the movie is losing a little bit of steam. I feel like it peaked at that porno theater, pun intended, and now it
April
doesn't.
was spent.
It doesn't have like as anywhere too interesting to go, but it is almost over. They go to a honey. What's her name? Davenport? Honey Whitlock, like film festival.
Yeah,
kind
she's
of.
becoming more and more famous as they do these like scenes and gunfights.
So even though
and
she's
stuff.
a wanted criminal,
It's kind of reviving her
people
career.
love her, yeah.
And I do love when they're watching the news segments back at the Hippodrome after the Patch Adams raid, and it's like all the victims like in the theater are like, oh, I think it was her best performance in years. She looked younger.
Yeah, and so she's like, oh,
like,
yeah,
okay.
It's pretty funny. And she was probably like 45 when she did this.
Oh,
but
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, so everybody's. I think
She's ageless.
Cecil's been shot. He's dying. So this is like their finale. So they kind of like get up on the roof of the kind of diner area.
They convinced Honey to set her hair on fire in a hilarious CGI.
Not CGI. It's just a flame bar behind her head.
I thought it was comped in.
I don't know. I don't think
I don't
so.
think
I
so.
have to revisit that, but you're right. Maybe it is what you said. I thought it looked just like a CGI.
Oh, well, there you go. John
April
Waters.
can't tell the difference anymore.
I know.
That's a successful effect. then.
Exactly.
You don't know how it was
Well,
done.
she called it hilarious CGI.
Oh, well.
No, I did think it looked
Just
bad.
making
but
a
maybe
mockery
I
of
just
my
thought it
job.
looked not real because maybe it was literally just like a flame behind.
Oh, you're
her.
right. It looks like they like comped it in and it's like floating above her head.
Thank you.
I'm looking at it right now.
They'd shoot they'd set like a mannequin head on fire and then they would comp
Yeah.
it in probably afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
It's just her hair is floating above her head, which is why it looks weird.
they do a big speech to the crowd. The crowd are just like fanatical fans of them now and stuff like that. And then she sets her hair on fire.
And then they finally finish the movie. The cops are like poised with
Yeah, they have
guns,
snipers and
then
everything.
they're like, we can have sex.
So
and
everybody
then the
starts-
couples that are survived.
Guys, the movie's not done. You haven't even done a rough cut yet. There's no movie.
Well, exactly. They haven't even edited it together. But yeah, so the couples have sex and there's like a sound effect as they jump on each other, which might also be my favorite thing in the movie. Michael Shannon gets laid, which is great.
Yeah, the Foley is really funny. They just start pulling up like groupies from the crowd to like have sex.
Yeah,
So
some
it's
of
really
them
funny.
get killed in the shootout. Some of them escape, and they haul her away.
We get the cuts to the snipers looking at all this happening through their scopes, and they're horrified by what they see.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, they're having sex!" It's so subversive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was also Patty Hearst shows up at this scene too, because she's the mom of one of the kids in the gang.
Yeah.
And her son like gets shot in the dick and falls like on the car like in front of her. And she was just like, oh well. He changes the marquee to say the end, and it's the end of the movie.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, she's being led into, the paddy wagon, as they call it, and all of her fans are surrounding her, asking for autographs. So, it's like her career has been revived, I guess.
Yeah, although she is going to jail.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think her career is probably over. But
Well, listen, just like Patty Hearst, she'll get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll star in John Waters' movies.
Patty Hearst go to jail?
no, I don't think so.
I believe so. I was kind of reading the story about that the other day. I can't remember what happened.
No, yeah, she spent 3 years
Yeah.
in
Oh,
prison.
wow.
She had a
And she was
much-
sentenced to 7 years.
She had a much longer sentence,
Yeah.
and then I think
But she's rich.
Jimmy Carter,
Yeah. She's rich, so she can get she can
Jimmy
get-
Carter is smarter.
But yeah, like I it's an interesting story that I think John Waters put this hilarious spin on it. Like, what if they were a terrorist group who hates bad Hollywood movies? It's a silly idea that I think works.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
it's short. It's very breezy. It's very charming, very likable. I think the cast is great. Did I pick a favorite thing? I don't know.
I don't think you did, Colin.
I don't know. Well, that shootout on the pier was really funny with the oysters.
The oyster
slurping.
scene?
The Forrest Gump stuff is really funny too. Michael Shannon's funny. Everybody's really funny and charming in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good performances. Justin, I heard that John Waters is making a new movie. Like,
Yeah, he
now.
is.
What's the story behind that?
Well, he just found somebody to give him money to make a new movie. And he just has it because he wanted enough money to be comfortable making a movie. He didn't want to have to struggle doing it. So,
And do we know anything about it, or?
nope, nothing.
I see. Because this
Will it happen?
thi-
Probably not. We'll see.
Cecil B. Demented is a late period Waters. There was
Yeah.
after this was only
A dirty shame.
A Dirty Shame. That's it, right?
That's it. Yep.
Which is crazy. So
Well, if people aren't watching the movies, Colin and April, then he
I
can't
know.
keep making them.
I know.
I feel bad. I want to watch more now.
well, Justin, as someone who has seen most or all John Waters movies, where would you rate this one?
It's pretty good. It definitely feels like a sketch premise that he struggles with to get to feature lengths by the end of it. But I like everybody. They're all having a fun time. It's, it's not offensive.
Yeah.
This was always known as one of his bad ones, but it definitely ain't bad.
no,
so.
no. If this is like one of the bad ones, I don't know.
Yeah, it's no Dorf on golf.
Yeah, really. See, there you go, guys. Not a bad movie.
No, not at all.
Not Dorf on golf. That's my exact quote.
Unfortunately. And this movie.
Do you know what we're talking about, April, when we say
Yes,
Dorf?
I've shown. This has come up on the podcast before. You just showed me a picture of the guy on his knees, like on the golf course.
Tim Conway.
And how was that? What was it, like a half-hour special, or was
not
it
just
a movie?
one half-an-hour special.
Tons.
Dorf on
Tons.
golf, Dorf in the first games of Mount Olympus,
How-
Dorf golf Bible, Dorf auto racing, Dorf goes fishing,
This is
Dorf
like-
on the diamond. Oh, he's playing sports.
Yeah, this is the height of like the VHS craze, where you could like,
Oh, yeah.
you'd always see commercials for them online, or sorry, on TV, and then you could like order them at the end of the commercial. It's like, send
for $50.
send $19.99 to whatever to get the Dorf collection. Blah blah blah. It's really funny.
Well, bro, I know what I'm
Dads
watching
loved
today.
Oh, God, Dorf.
No, don't.
And so,
Don't.
yeah, don't Dorf. This movie is.
That was his last film where he went over the line. Don't Dorf.
This movie is available where quality movies all are to be.
Yep.
And I'm sure you could also get a DVD or a Blu-ray. I don't know if this ever hit Blu-ray, but yeah, it's available.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously we would all recommend it. And thank you for the recommendation from our patron. And if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com. And we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. And if, as mentioned, if you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're on the $5 level, you get access to over 100 bonus episodes, including the latest one on the Damien Chazelle disaster piece, Babylon. No, it's not a disaster piece. Or is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so check that out. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Admansky.
You can find me every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast or on Twitter at Decluje, DECLOUX, letter J, and also on Letterboxd at Justin Declue.
You can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA. I'm also on Letterboxd, but I don't know my name.
He doesn't know his name. Hold on. I'm on Letterboxd.
Is it Sergeant Zima?
I'm on Letterboxd
like
too,
your
guys.
Instagram?
You can always just find me by searching my name.
It's Sergeant Zima, SGT.
I can't believe it's Sergeant Zima.
Yeah. What a surprise.
There's 100 episodes of Colin being like, what's my Instagram? Right, Sergeant Zima.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, he's not searching himself. So.
No, he's not. But his name is Sergeant Zima. It's Sergeant Zima on everything.
Yeah, pretty much on everything. It's on my driver's license.
And that's just because you love Zimas, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it for this week, people. Stay strong. Try and stay warm because January is a bad time of year.
What is this ending? You're like,
stay strong.
Well, just because it's like a depressing month of the year, January, and the weather is really bad. I'm just trying to put some positivity out there.
Stay strong.
We're due to Canadian broadcasting regulations. We have to have a moral at the end of every episode. No such thing as a bad movie.
Exactly.
Remember, kids, eat your bananas every morning. Wait a minute. This is sponsored by the Banana Association.
Go to milk. Drink your drugs.
Stay strong.
I'm April Admansky.
I'm Justin the Glue.
I'm Colin Cunningham. It's a lot of fire engines going by our window right now.
And remember, there's no such thing. Oh my God.
They heard you're sick. They're
Yeah,
coming for you.
hold on. Yeah.
And
In Canada, they've come to bring me to the incineration pit.
and remember,
Yeah, the death panel.
remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.